So you're thinking of making the move to the Central Texas, Liberty Hill area, but maybe there's some things you need to know first because not everything is perfect where you're going. So today we wanted to unpack some things that you should be aware of before making the move to Austin.
Yeah, I know that making a move, maybe across the country or even just like a few cities over, can be exciting, especially when you've heard all these awesome things about Austin and Texas, but there are some harsh realities about moving to Texas, and we wanted to bring those to you today.
So we're focusing on the Hill Country area, moreover, and not so much, definitely Austin too, but obviously we're in Liberty Hill. And so these are definitely some things you need to know, and we're going to get into it right now. All right, so right out of the gate, before you move to Texas, there is kind of a crazy thing that we deal with here pretty regularly. It's called weather. Weather in Texas can be pretty extreme. So whether you're talking about the summertime or the wintertime or anything in between, you never really know what you're gonna get. There's a saying here in Texas, it goes something like this: if you don't like the weather outside, give it 10 minutes.
Yeah, just wait, because it'll change.
That's right. I don't know, does your hair fall because of the humidity?
Yes.
Yeah, so
that is a thing.
Yeah, so we're right up against the Gulf, right? So we're not Houston, Texas, so Houston definitely gets blasted. Judy's actually got roots in Houston. She actually was born and raised there, but got out of there as fast as possible. But is now obviously here in Liberty Hill in the greater Austin area. But we don't necessarily have the humidity that they have in Houston, but it's still Gulf air coming up across the land, and it just kind of pelts you here. And so not only do you get the heat, but the humidity as well. So definitely want to be weather. You're going to be aware of that in the weather. So
yeah. So if you have curly hair, be prepared for it to be frizzy. And if you have straight hair and you curl it, be prepared for it to just go straight. So there's that.
Yeah, and
but
so
it does keep your skin moist.
It makes it supple. Jeez. So, and also it's important to understand that if you're an asthmatic and you're coming here, it can be tough too. Less humid climates like, Colorado, the Rockies, more kind of like flyover states, way less humid. So be ready. My mother actually struggles with asthma, difficult when she comes to visit because there's, it's pretty thick here. So,
yeah.
So let's talk a little about rain and ice.
Wait, before though, I wanted to show this product.
Oh,
Allergies.
Yeah,
Since we're on the topic of allergies,
we're still on weather,
right? Oh. I thought you were touching on allergies.
Judy wants to talk about allergies. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay, we'll put this down.
She's so excited. So, all right.
I want to help people.
Well, we're all about service, above and beyond. Okay, so the heat here can be insane. We're looking just this summer. We had several days.
Like 105 degrees and up.
Yeah.
So you couple that with the humidity and it's brutal.
So funny story, when I moved here, before I moved here, I was visiting and I was living in California for a very brief window of time. I was in a band and we were pursuing the band and I was living in California. Why are you laughing? You liked our band. So I was in the band in California, and so I got out of the military in Washington State decades ago, made a brief stop in California, and I remember coming to visit here from Fresno. I flew out of Fresno, and I visited you for the first time when we were dating, and we did a long distance relationship. I don't know if that adds to the video, but it was awesome. Anyway, actually it was terrible. But the point is, I flew here for the first time. I remember leaving Fresno, it was like 110, and then I landed in Austin, and I got off the plane, I was like, oh, it was so humid. It was
totally different.
So, and it was only like 94, and it was just, you were like, welcome to Texas.
Yeah, that was dry heat. Here you get a bunch of very humid heat. So,
yes, and the weather, so on the other side of that, the winter can be brutal, but we don't really get like
a consistent winter.
Yeah, it's not consistent. It's usually kind of the 50s, 40s, sometimes it drops below freezing, not very often. We'll go several winters without any below freezing temperatures, right? And then like suddenly, boom, we just get pelted and everything freezes. A lot of a lot of people like protect their pipes and so forth. We don't really get like pipes bursting and stuff. What we did last February.
There are times when that has happened.
And it definitely
But
has.
for the most part, like it'll be 85, 90 degrees one day and warm and you're in shorts. And then all of a sudden a cold front will come through and the temperature will drop like 40 degrees. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then it's like, I don't know if you heard, like Texas, February 2020, 2021, we had that huge freeze. Snowpocalypse. We didn't have power. We didn't have water. Not every.
We're on the hospital grid.
Yeah. That was. It's actually funny because when you go to look at houses now that are for sale on the market,
Did not lose power during ice storm.
Did not lose power during the ice storm, which is hilarious. But yeah, our house that we were in, we actually sold and moved up to Liberty Hill. So when in Austin, we lost power, we lost water. And the only saving grace, everybody made fun of me because I collected firewood in the summertime. And everybody's like, what are you doing? But they weren't laughing at me that winter.
Nope, everybody was at our house.
We had the whole hood.
That's
right. We were like feeding that furnace. It was awesome. So the winters can be rough sometimes, but it can change on a dime. We also, I heard this, I don't know if it's fact, but I heard we get more rain than Seattle. We just get it in like one day. So like.
Or a dozen days.
Or a dozen days, but the point is like
it's
Texas
not
rains.
Like every day, dreary and drizzly.
No, yeah, definitely clear skies most of the time. Definitely bright, and sunny for the most part. But when we get rain, there's nothing like a Texas thunderstorm.
Oh yeah, and there's the occasional tornado.
Occasional tornadoes.
Not very often, but sometimes we have hail.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have tornadoes.
Yep. So
they just kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's brutal. But northeast of Liberty Hill and northeast of Austin, there's a town called Gerald, which back in the early 2000s or whatever, it was a long time ago, they had a F5 tornado come through, but it's super rare. It's not as many tornadoes here.
Yeah.
We just get more. Honestly, Austin is pretty insulated from a lot of drama. We don't get the hurricanes from the coast. We get hail sometimes, but it's hot. And if you're an outdoorsy person, bring your water and your sunscreen
and your bathing suit
and go check out the river, go float, go tube, check out some of the cool things around Austin, check out the lakes.
Yeah, just stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, but just know if you go outside, it is not the California coast. Okay,
no,
so
not at
it
all.
is not the Colorado Rockies either. You are going to sweat. So, and it's humid, it's hot, and it can get cold. So the rain and the weather and the sun and the winters and all that jazz. But on the whole, it's a pretty mild climate, which also lends itself to being able to get out and do stuff most of the year. But Texas is extreme, so.
Oh, and spring is really beautiful.
That's right. The springtime is pretty dang nice.
Yeah, March, April, May, all really beautiful months, mild weather.
Yeah.
Sometimes in February, I feel like a lot of the cold fronts, the most harsh cold fronts come in February.
Yes.
Maybe late January, but most often I feel like February. So that month is a little iffy. Sometimes it's nice and warmer.
Yep.
And then sometimes you're freezing. So
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get.
Never know, but hey, you roll with it because that's how we do it in Texas. So, all right, number 2, Judy's favorite on the list. Mind you, this one is near and dear to her heart. She loves this one. She loves talking about bugs. The bugs in Texas.
No, I don't do bugs.
You don't like bugs? That's me. So,
No, hate bugs.
Okay, what are the biggest bug issues that we have here?
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Dare I say cockroaches?
Well, yeah, I mean,
If you have a lot of trees, especially though,
Yeah.
because a lot of the older homes have these big, beautiful oak trees, which are gorgeous, but then they attract a lot of bugs, a lot of roaches.
A lot of bugs.
So we have to have our house sprayed quarterly,
Yep.
which helps a lot. And then ants also, especially right now because we've been going through a drought. The ants are kind of making their way in so they can get to the water. So we do have that sometimes. But mosquitoes are the biggest thing. They're like pretty big and they like carry you away. Just kidding, they don't carry you away, but but they are annoying.
Yeah, and we're not quite as bad as like. So I like the show Life Below Zero on National Geographic. So you watch these guys in Alaska and there's swarms of mosquitoes.
It's not like that.
But if you leave standing water in your yard,
you will have mosquitoes.
You might get malaria. I'm just gonna say. No, I'm just kidding. You're not gonna get. Well, I hope you don't get malaria, but you probably won't.
Or what's the other one? Zika?
Not West Nile.
Zika, I think.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
All kind
of.
So mosquitoes. So that's definitely something you want to be mindful of.
Yes, but you can also treat for mosquitoes as well. A lot of people have a service come out and spray their yard.
Mosquito Joe.
That helps. Well, there's quite a few of them.
And there's also ABC and all these guys
Research, yes. So lots of companies that come out and spray your yard. So that helps mitigate the problem around, where the kids are playing or where you want to hang out and sit on the front porch and all that. So,
yeah, for
and
sure.
citronella candles.
Citronella. A lot of workarounds, but mosquitoes. June bugs.
Oh gosh, yes.
June bugs are.
We didn't mention the crickets. Remember?
I'm getting to the crickets.
We forgot about those.
Hold on now. We don't talk about the plague. We're talking about the swarm, the infestation. But June bugs. So June bugs, they start off as these grub worms, and then eventually they turn into June bugs.
We need to hurry through
Hold on a second.
I do not want to talk about bugs.
So June, and then they come up to the surface, and then they just take over, literally in June, summertime. And they're the dumbest things ever, because they just like bam, bam, bam on your windows. You're like, what? And again, they don't like bite you or hurt you if they land on you. It's just kind of an annoyance. You flip them off, but man, they're everywhere for probably about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then they just kind of dissipate. On the upside, though, we have a lot of lightning bugs, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
My girls love lightning, which are cool.
I think those are probably the only bug I'm okay with.
Yeah, really?
Probably.
I mean, but if you see it up close and it has like it's a bug.
I know, so they're really cool and they're harmless. They don't like bite or sting and they're like really cool. They light
June bugs,
up.
they're sweet and cute. They don't mess with you.
No, those are like, they have long legs. And
they do have like scratchy little hooky legs.
Like cockroach legs.
Yeah, I mean.
No, they look like cockroaches kind of. No, I don't do those.
Okay. The crickets. So we have crickets here, right, normally? But every like 4 years, I don't know what I don't know. I'm not a bug guy, but I will tell you.
It's not every year.
It's not every year, but like, like the cicadas every 7 years in like Carolina, just there's billions of them. We have that with crickets.
Yeah.
It is the most insane. I remember a long time ago, I worked for this car sales company, like when we first got married, and it was the worst year of my life. But mostly because of the crickets. But I remember one time they were covering the doors. They were cut everywhere. I was like,
yeah, it's
I thought we were in like the Book of Exodus or something. I mean, it was bananas. There's billions of crickets.
Yeah, you like go to Target and there's like thousands of crickets that are like
you're like crunching on them.
Yeah, because they've died. And
it's
then
disgusting.
There's like, they sweep them up and they're in piles like leaves.
Yeah, but the birds go crazy and they can't eat them all. Like the crickets there's too many to eat.
Yeah.
So it's gross. Anyway, and then this isn't so much the hill country where we are, but so I used to I mentioned the Houston, a long time ago. Judy was born and raised in Houston. Well, family's still there, so we drive back and forth. But every springtime, you're gonna love this one.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
The love bugs.
Yes.
So the love bugs are these little bugs, and they say they're love bugs because they fly around connected at the booty, and they're mating in the spring, I think it is. And they are.
Sorry, y'all.
They are dumb, and they would just fly in front of your car. Literally, your windshield will be covered
in bug guts. Yeah.
Love bugs. So there you go. That's Texas. That's Texas bugs right there. So anyway, we're mosquitoes, June bugs, love bugs. Not so much here, but they're fun to kind of. Well, they're not fun. You gotta clean them up pretty. And then crickets, cricket plague. That's crazy. So anything else you want to say about bugs?
Oh, I was just gonna. Well, this isn't really a bug, but I was gonna say if you do have like a larger piece of property, you will have probably snakes.
Yeah, I just killed a snake. They're not so much in town though.
No, but
I will say
we are in Liberty Hill, and there's a lot of homes that have acres.
Well,
yeah. The snakes are real.
Okay, so rattlesnakes. I've never seen a rattlesnake.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, thank the Lord. But my daughter came in the other day because she lifted up the lawnmower because there's this big huge toad family that was living under my lawn. Because I have a riding mower now, and I used to push, so I left the push on the side of the house. So Kanan, my 9-year-old, she was showing her friend. She picks up the lawnmower, moves it back, and then she goes, "Yeah, not frogs," and she sets it right back down. She comes inside. Yeah, Dad, there's a man-eating snake under the mower, and I was like, "What?" So I pulled out, and sure, it was like a 4-foot rat snake.
They're like, "How is this big?"
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, exaggeration.
Yeah, it was that big.
Yeah, no, it was like probably at least 3 feet.
So I got the hoe and I cut its head off, and it was still striking at me when I was to cut the head off. So there's some snakes, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Most of the development that you're gonna have, they're not around.
Thankfully,
They push them out. It's fine.
Thankfully, the girls are okay.
Okay, all right. So moving on to the next one, we had a little detour with snakes, but this is not bad. It's not bad. So the next for sure is property taxes. So if you're coming to Texas and you're coming, you know, the Hill Country or Texas in general, you're gonna have property taxes, and it might be a little bit of a culture shock because a lot of cities in other parts of the country have a lot lower pro tax because the states draw revenue from other means. They'll have income tax. Texas doesn't have state income tax. They'll have all these other, gas tax, sin tax, this tax, that tax, and everything else. And Texas is really good about taxes for the most part, but property taxes is gonna be a kind of a gut punch when you first see it. We cheer and rave about maybe a 1.8 property tax, but that's because that's really low.
But people who come from like California or New York or different states who are not super familiar with property taxes, they kind of freak out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. You buy a $500,000 house, it's $5,000 right out of the gate for a 1% property tax. For 2%, that's 10. For 2.5, you're like $2,500 or $12,500 or whatever. It's $12,500 a year. So $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 in property taxes annually. So, but again, it ends up working out, and obviously it's not that bad because we're being, a lot of people are coming. Yeah. So, if it was that bad, people would just be like, turn around. But it is a little bit of a shock right out of the gate. Property tax is a main revenue generating resource for the Texas, cities, states, and municipalities and so forth. They're drawing revenue from property taxes. So just know when you see it, it's going to be a lot more than maybe you were paying before, but you don't have all the other taxes.
Yeah, you don't have income tax. So just to reiterate that, you usually come out on top, even with the higher property tax rate, because you don't have that in-state income tax. So it'll save you money possibly to come here.
Definitely save you money for sure. So, and there's other things that we can do on the taxes. You can protest your taxes. You can do the homestead exemption here in Texas. So that if you're over 65, there's a lot of the national ones as well. So, there may be some, and they do a great job, like really helping, veterans, disabled veterans, all these things. So a lot of cool tax breaks that you can get, but just no property taxes. Woo! Like right out of the gate. So just heads up there. All right, let's talk about.
Now we're getting to it.
Yes. Hold on a second. Judy wants to introduce this next segment. What are we talking about next, babe?
Allergies, because everybody here struggles with them. Honestly, it took me a long time before I actually got cedar fever. I think it was like years and years and years. I've been here since like.
What is cedar fever? Tell me.
You get all these symptoms like a cold or the flu.
Yeah.
And it's just your body's immune
system, immunoresponse.
That's the word for that. Yes, your body's immune system responds to all these allergies that you're having, or all these symptoms that you're having to the allergies, and you just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes people can get a fever. Sometimes people can get, coughing and sneezing, of course, and all the runny nose and everything. But you feel sick a lot of times.
Yeah.
I know you had it pretty bad right out of the gate. But me, born and raised in Texas.
Yeah.
And then moving, Houston doesn't have as many allergies, I feel like, but then moving to Austin, I did eventually get allergies. So this is kind of what I was excited to share about.
Please.
We love these drops. Can you see? The allergy relief drops. I hope you can see that. Oh, it's kind of glaring. But anyways, they're just like natural drops, and they help build your immunity against all this tree pollen that everybody struggles with.
Yes, yeah.
So you just drop that under your tongue,
and
multiple times a day, and you have to do it like well in advance. You can't take it. You could, but it's not super effective if you're taking it when you have the allergies. So you just build up your immunity over time. Yeah. And hopefully that helps you with your allergy situation.
So I had to get a sinus surgery done because I was getting so many sinus infections, and I had to go in there and kind of roto-rooter everything, and it was very unpleasant, and I was very upset with everything in life, and I was very upset and ugly with my family. I was like, oh.
Well, yeah. To be fair though, you did look like you got into like the worst bar fight ever.
And I went shopping for Christmas the day after my surgery. Remember that? I went
Yes.
I was at the
was like,
store
you
and it was
did
like
what?
pouring down my face. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm okay. I'm not like on drugs. Anyway, I was on drugs, but not as many others.
Well, and you also, this may be weird, but you also had like an extra sinus cavity. You had a third sinus cavity. So
why are you telling everybody about my defects?
Because I don't want it to I don't want it to sound like it's all from allergies.
Right.
You kind of did have a little defect.
Well, okay, but I will say this is a true statement. If you're prone to sinus infections, it can start.
Probably will get them here, yeah.
It can start with allergies, so it can spiral and cascade. So you got to take care of yourself. Sinus rinses. Just be mindful, because I actually take the drops. So I actually would. I'm not even kidding. This may sound. This is worst case. Most people are fine. I'm normally fine now that I got the surgery, but most people are fine. But I got sinus infections, it turned into bronchitis, and then it turned into pneumonia multiple times. So finally I had the surgery and I fixed all that. So I was prone. Most people are not prone and they're fine. But cedar fever, spring mold issues.
Yeah, mold is what gets me. I don't
Yeah.
even cedar so much. But
Yeah,
mold, I'm like I want to gouge my eyes out. I'm so itchy.
Yeah, and it's kind of gross. You'll walk out to your car like in March and it's green. Your car is like totally green.
And your roof is green and everything.
The house is green.
Covered
Everything's
in
green.
pollen.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's why everybody has allergies really bad.
Yeah, I actually heard that the cedar pollen that we see is actually not from where we are in Central Texas.
Yeah, it blows in, right?
It comes in from
Heard that.
East Texas or West Texas, and it blows this way. But I don't know if that's true.
Regardless,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have allergies.
Take the drops, get your Zyrtec, prescription. Go see the dog, get an allergist. Homeopathic honey. Honey's supposed to be good.
Oh yeah, native.
Yes.
It has to be native. Native honey is really good for building up
Yep.
your immunity to
Yes.
allergies.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
good point.
All right, let's talk about something else. The next section that we're going to talk about
I
is
thought you were calling me honey.
honey. How you doing? Okay, the next section that's after the video.
Oh.
So we are
Anyways.
traffic.
Traffic.
Let's
yes.
talk traffic.
Okay. I'm
So-
like, what's the next one?
Traffic sucks. There's no way. I mean, it's
Yeah.
So there's kind of this is my theory.
In Austin and just all around Austin, just traffic is horrible.
So for a number of years, leadership in Texas worked hard to draw businesses into Texas because Texas is very business friendly. Tax, advantages, and it's all these things. But other leadership did not like that, and for whatever reason, we don't have the roads.
Yeah, infrastructure here in the Austin area is not the greatest.
Yeah, it can.
We've got like two main roads, I-35 and MoPac, which is Loop 1. And then there are other highways too, but those are the two big ones. And
Yeah.
they're always congested.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, here in Liberty Hill, we have 29, which is
Yeah.
always congested.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that, and so a little bit more around that. But in Liberty Hill specifically, there's, like Judy said, one road. Most of our schools are off the main road. It's also a corridor through to the Hill Country on 29, so it can get pretty gnarly. So you got to be very, very mindful, careful, patient. Know your surroundings. But traffic can be bad if you're trying to go in town. If you have any flexibility, if you work from home, just plan on going before or after main rush hours. You'll be fine. We can get to the airport in 40 to 50 minutes, 45 minutes, if we're not going at peak hours, and that's 50 something miles away. I mean, so you can do it, it's doable, but you have to plan in advance.
And the toll road helps a lot too.
Yes, but the other thing that I was going to say, which is the next one, which is the toll roads. Beautiful segue. Man, it's like you have it. It's almost like you have it in front of you. The tolls here. It seems like every time they add a road, you have to pay for the road, with tolls instead of taxes.
But I feel like that's common in a lot of the states that people are moving from. So it may not be
Where you are, weigh in, comment below. Tolls, yay or nay, good or bad?
Always nay, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
people in California get tons of tolls.
lots of tolls.
Yeah.
Do they have a lot of tolls in California? Do they? I don't know. I know the 5. Hey, Californians, when you come, it's not the 183 or the 35. Okay, it's I-35 or 183, okay, or 29, not the 29. I'm just kidding. We welcome your vernacular until you get here. I'm just kidding. We always know our California friends because they're like, yeah, I was on the 35. The 35? Come on, you're killing me. So anyway, so roads, anytime they put one in, it's a tollway. It used to be completely free to go to the airport. Now they turned the main road into a toll road. So you can take the frontage road and avoid the cost if you want, but if it's rush hour, you're like, fine, you force me into having to take the toll because it is a time saver. But we actually have a friend who is going through kind of a rough patch in life.
Oh no!
And
we're not naming names.
Nope, this is totally anonymous. But we have a friend going through a difficult time, and she let her boyfriend borrow her car, and he got pulled over on the toll road. And he was like, I have never gone over 60 in my entire life, and the speed limit's 80 on the toll road. And they pulled him over, and they're like, well, the thing is, is this your vehicle? No. He's like, well, the owner of this vehicle owes $3,000 in tolls. And he's like, first of all, why are you pulling me over for a bill? Are you in collections? Number one.
That's like 10 years worth of tolls for us.
Yeah.
I'm kind of cheap like that.
She's cheap. I drive for a living. She's like, stop taking that toll. I'm like, come on. Because you're real.
I like spending, if I'm going to spend $5 on toll every time I have to go somewhere, I'd rather just save that money and use it for something else. I don't know.
Well, you're a good influence on me. I've really reduced my toll usage, but...
Good. See, I'm rubbing off on you.
Yes. So we are going to, just kind of leave it there. But we have a lot of tolls.
It can get expensive.
It can get expensive.
Yeah, if you're always taking the toll. So if you're moving somewhere further out, budget that in if you're good with taking the tolls. Yep.
Now, Liberty Hill specific. Another thing that is super important to understand is that if you're going to live in Liberty Hill for the most part, unless you live way west, you got to travel to do some stuff. So for us, we live very far. We live on the very farthest part of, actually the county line goes right through our neighborhood. We live on the Liberty Hill side of the county line. The Bertram, it's still Liberty Hill technically, but it's a different county, so the schools kind of divide right there. But we live on the very border of Liberty Hill. And so it takes us 20 minutes to go to the grocery store, which, we're fine with. We have a big lot in a nice neighborhood. We love our community. So it's worth it for us, but maybe it's not worth it for you. So if you're gonna move up this way, just know that your neighborhood, you may have to drive a little bit to go do anything.
But honestly, excuse me, one time we were meeting, this was probably several months ago, we were meeting a friend for lunch, and I was at Target, where we used to live in Austin. Mm-hmm. Just from Target to the restaurant we were meeting at, which was a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles at the most. It took me 20 minutes to get there. Mm-hmm. With all the lights, and then just, I don't know, tons of cars out.
No, that's a really good point.
So, yeah.
So for now, there's not a lot of impedances, lights and so forth, but eventually they will be here. But yeah, to Judy's point, whenever we lived in Austin, it took us 20 minutes to go 2 miles or 3 miles down the road to go to the grocery store. So it's not like it changed a ton. It's just, you're covering more ground, a little bit more gas, a little bit more wear and tear. So you're going to have to travel a little bit to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And you're not quite as close to Austin, as you are living in Cedar Park, Leander, or Austin. But
also the people who live on the east side of Liberty Hill, right? That is east.
Mm-hmm.
East. Am I getting my directions right?
Yep.
They are in an area that's a little more accessible than where we are.
Yeah.
We're further west. So.
Yeah, they're literally the bigger neighborhoods, the bigger neighborhoods like Orchard Ridge, Santa Rita Ranch, Liberty Park, San Gabriel. All those neighborhoods are right next to HEB, which is the greatest grocery store chain in the world.
Yes.
It's here in Texas, and so come here, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yes, it's true.
It is true.
We go to other states for vacation, and we're like, I miss it.
We used to go on dates when we were broke and first married to HEB. I'm not even kidding.
That and Target.
That and Target. $5 bin. Now we used to have a $5 movie bin. We used to buy movies out of the $5 movie bin for our date, go home and watch it with like a $2 thing of Ben and Jerry's. We were so broke. It was the best. But yeah, so East Liberty Hill gonna have more accessibility. West, they have plans. We'll get to that later about growth and development. But for now, like just know, not as terribly convenient. So one last thing is that if you are an introvert, or if you come from kind of a rough environment, you're coming from New York, you're coming from wherever.
I don't know if you can say that.
Is that
environment?
Well, our neighbors came from Chicago, and they are like blossoming. They love it here. But just know that when you come here, and we'll talk about
it's just different.
Yes.
It's very different. Culture shock, for sure.
It's super different.
Yeah, so if you're not used to talking to people, sorry to cut you off now.
No, it's okay.
If you're not used to talking to people when you're out and about, like shopping or at the grocery store or just at the gas station or wherever, then you might be shocked to find out that people actually smile at you here and they say, how you doing? Or howdy, how are you? All those things. So, I mean, we go on morning walks sometimes in our neighborhood and we like wave at every car that drives by. Hi, hi.
Yeah, it's tough to actually get some serious good time on our walks because the neighbors with their dogs, hi.
Yeah, everybody stops and talks.
It's the best. And you know what? It's like in order to not, you have to wear a hat, pull down, shades on, go in the store, trench coat, don't talk to me. Otherwise, you're going to get talked to and people are going to be friendly to you.
Yeah.
Because that's Texas. That's the Texas way. Again, we were having a conversation with our neighbor this morning and how they came from Chicago and they're just like, this is unreal. Like tonight's a football game. First football game, 2022 season.
We're in our Liberty Hill garb.
So Liberty Hill's playing tonight, so we're super pumped about the football game tonight. But you go to the football game, it's otherworldly. You're gonna stand up, you're gonna put your hand on your heart, you're gonna say the pledge, you're gonna, they're gonna pray. I mean, it's a family town, so just know that
they don't pray.
Yes, they do. They have a moment of silence.
Moment of silence. They don't have a prayer.
They don't have a prayer.
But you're welcome to pray during that moment.
You can pray if you want. Ain't nobody gonna be like, don't you pray. You can definitely. Moment of silence.
Yeah, the community comes out and rallies and just cheers the football team on, and it's just a great time.
It's
love
huge.
it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Can't wait. It also means cooler weather, which is
not yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, we get cool weather sometime around November, December. So it's a family town. Just know that it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock. So that is pretty much, I think, a big summary. Is there any other, other than our prepared lists? We have weather, we have bugs, property taxes, allergies, traffic, family friendly, toll roads.
Oh,
small town, right?
We wrote down. It's a small town. We just, the other day I was driving down. I was driving down 29. Yeah, I think it's 29.
Yeah. That's all we got.
Well, 29, and I saw the guys out there changing the population sign. The little
from 600 to 6,000.
No, it was I think it was 900.
Yeah, it was like 968.
But now it's like over 6,000. But that's just for Liberty Hill proper.
The ETJ.
So of course, there's tons more people who live outside of that, and it's still Liberty Hill, but it's just not included in that population, which confuses a lot of people. But still, I remember when we moved to Leander back in the day when we first got married. The beginning of our marriage.
18 years ago.
It was like this.
Yeah.
And now it's.
But a little
bigger.
bigger.
A bazillion people now who live there. But
yes.
Liberty Hill's headed that direction, but for now it's still a small town vibes, lots of community, lots of nice people, and people who love to say howdy. So if you're an introvert, that might not work for you.
That's right. Well, listen, we appreciate you taking time to follow us through this. Texas is super unique, and people are calling us all the time. I had 2 new calls last night from people wanting to transition. We've had several this week. I mean, people are just reaching out. So we're super excited to serve. And if you're really interested in Liberty Hill, man, we just want to be able to answer all those questions, make sure it's a fit, but we do serve the greater Austin area as well. Again, we've been in the greater Austin area for almost, how long have you been? 20?
Since 2000,
God,
22 years.
So so we're natives. So all that to say.
Myself. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm dating.
Oh,
So but if you have questions, please reach out. If this video was helpful, give us a like below. Maybe shoot a comment.
That like button.
Yeah, man, and comment at the bottom. We love to hear your thoughts. If you have recommendations or
subscribe.
And so, well, yeah, of course. If you have comments or things that you want to talk about or questions about this area, put a little comment down there. We'd love to answer that for you. But until next time, we will see you
y'all
around the hill.